Welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, June 25th, 2021. My name is Aubrey and I am here with your astrological outlook for the weekend. So just to get things started today, Friday, the first point of interest, the first thing of note is there is a striking dichotomy of things spoken about through a few placements of the Sabian symbols today, or there is a split highlighted today in some capacity. So that's a theme that we may see or experience today. And this is brought to us by both the position of the Earth as well as the position of Venus today. The Earth is at 5 degrees of Capricorn, and the Sabian symbol or energetic depiction that we can use to get a better idea of how this particular degree resonates is the image, the visual of Indians, some rowing a canoe while others dance a war dance. So there's a specific thing going on, and there are two groups of people doing drastically different things, okay? And then we have Venus at 29 degrees of Cancer today, about to move into Leo this weekend, which is definitely going to bring us some shifts in terms of the energy. And this degree, 29 degrees of Cancer, where Venus is today, is a Greek muse weighing newborn twins in golden scales. So again, the theme of something being split, there being, a dichotomy or two like equal fashions with differing ways of being right now. So just a theme, something to keep an eye on today as we move through this energetic, something that came up a couple times in the Sabians, so I wanted to mention that. Another theme of the energetics today for Friday, where the sun is today, 5 degrees of Cancer. This is the Sabian symbol at a railroad crossing. An automobile is wrecked by a train. So accidents, specifically today, potentially highlighted, as well as like train wrecks, verbatim. So just another thing that we might want to remember today, maybe take some extra care while we're driving or operating any type of heavy machinery or anything like that, just because of the activation of the Sabians in effect today. Now, the rest of the big news today is Neptune is stationing retrograde, and I will talk about that as I get further along in my report. But other than that, today, the moon is just very active, and today the moon is still bringing up, we're still very much in the full moon energetics from yesterday. The moon is still in Capricorn, and today the moon will be trining Uranus, making a sextile to Neptune, who is going retrograde later this evening, and will also conjunct Pluto retrograde opposite Venus. Remember, we had a big Venus-Pluto opposition that occurred on Wednesday that was continuing on this like theme of power struggles and control issues in regards to relationships and finances, and just like darker, more dominant forces trying to kind of like hold down our innocence and purity, Venus and Pluto. And again, this brings up generally a lot of like power struggles, power and control dynamics, dominance issues in relationships and finances. So with the moon today coming into a conjunction with Pluto and opposing Venus, this is going to be activating and bringing up themes from Wednesday when we had this activation exact. So, and because it's the moon, it's bringing these things up now for emotional processing. Like I said, the full moon energetics are still very active today, and there is potential for surprises and information, especially in regards to information that has been hidden, being exposed, and a light or highlighted, or like a highlight on these power struggles in relationships and also finances, like I said, and an emotional desire to break free from anything that enslaves us. And honestly, I make these reports a day in advance, so I don't have the opportunity to use examples of the energetics as they are, unfolding and operating in the world. But like, I just have to say, like, I could not possibly, I don't know if you guys are following this or if you've heard about it, but it's been a pretty big deal. And I cannot think of a better, like, real life manifestation of this Venus Pluto opposition that we had on Wednesday, other than this Britney Spears thing that's going on. And, a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people, don't follow Britney Spears, don't care about Britney Spears, like just pop culture, whatever. But like, for me personally, like I grew up with Britney Spears. Like, I was like a 90s kid and I was like a teenager right when her music was coming out and stuff. And I always sort of had like a soft spot for Britney Spears. And I've kind of followed this whole saga that she's been going through, for a long period of time. It's been very apparent that she's been being, very, very controlled and, hasn't, just really isn't allowed to live her life. And this whole conservatorship and all of that. And like the fact that she got the opportunity to testify on Wednesday when this energetic was going on and the things that she said about her experience, like there really is no better active description of the Venus opposite Pluto at this point in time in this year in the age of Aquarius with Uranus in Taurus than, that example. Like, the feminine, Britney, facing off against and standing up to the forces that have controlled and enslaved her and used her money, Venus, to do it. It's like such a great example. And it's a huge, and not only is it like such a good example of how this energy works generally and like what it can translate into. I mean, the fact that her hearing was the exact same day as the Venus-Pluto opposition this year, considering that for the new moon this year, we had the Venus square to Pluto exact. It's mind-blowing to me how astrology works, but that is how it works. And, that's on the macrocosm. And to me, the fact that this happened on this day and she brought so much awareness to the experience that she has been dealing with behind the scenes and like the trauma and the torture that she's been that is being exerted upon her from these controlling forces like above her and using her own money to do it. Meanwhile, like completely stripping away her personal authenticity and her personal liberty. Like she is a perfect example right now of how these energetics are playing out and how this Venus-Pluto control power dynamic against innocence, beauty, purity, peace, like how that is playing out. And relationships, power struggles, finances, Pluto, Venus, it's just a very good way to understand how this energetic operates. And like I was saying, to me, this is a huge indication of what's happening on the microcosm as well, because it's been 13 years that she's been in this situation. And it was just this exact moment in time that she was able to stand up, speak her mind, with her own personal power, right? Because that's what, ultimately the Venus-Pluto dynamic is getting us to do, is realize our own value, our own worth, and the power that comes with that, and using that to overcome these external forces that are being, controlling and dominating and just enslaving us for whatever reason. It really has to do with recognizing and valuing our own internal power, and nothing can match that. And Britney, it'll be interesting to see how this goes, but I think that there's a good possibility that she could have a lot of success in finally being liberated right now because of all of the energetics. And that was just a huge, I'm sorry to talk about this for so long, but I was just blown away to see that happened on that day at this time, and what that represents to me in terms of what is happening on like a collective level and on a microcosm. Like after 13 years, if that is what she did with that energy in that moment, I know that this is happening on smaller scales and individual levels with people in relationships breaking out of whatever has been enslaving them for long periods of time, to really be able to stand in their power and come into their authenticity and demand their right to be liberated, to be themselves. And that's literally what she was asking for. There cannot be a more perfect example of how these energetics are playing out on the the macro and on the micro as well, because literally I really think that is just an example that can be extrapolated to so many other people and situations in the vibration that is emanating right now and that people are on. So I really just wanted to talk about that because I just found it, I feel like it's an important indicator for where we're at right now. And talking about, I've been talking about how this full moon was going to show us something that gives us a gauge on where we're at in breaking out of these things that have been limiting us, so that we can like strive to get back into this authenticity and be liberated in some area of our lives. And that, you know, like me even describing that in this way, like in a collective way, I feel like this was an indication of where we're at collectively in our striving for this liberation and authenticity. So good job, Brittany. Way to go. Wishing you the best. And I think it's probably eventually going to go your way. Moving on. We are just in Revelations now, you guys, with this full moon, and today is more of that. It's an emotionally heavy day because the moon is going to be conjuncting Pluto and opposing Venus, so we're really going to be feeling this struggle that we are being called to overcome through our own internal power and the strength that that gives us to put down any oppressors. But it's activating our breakaway and also our breakthrough simultaneously. And people are no longer tolerating being enslaved to anything, and it's starting to come apart. And again, we saw this on Wednesday with what happened in that situation. And it's just a good example for how these energetics are playing out and how they are impacting people individually in their own lives, and like the type of thing that we can kind of expect now going forward. Okay. Now we have to get to Neptune. Neptune is going retrograde today. And when Neptune goes retrograde, this has to do with stripping away illusions and dreams and false realities that have clouded our vision. And, you know, part of how we do this, part of how this happens under the Neptune retrograde energetics are through an increased intuitive and psychic ability that is just accessible generally during this time, as the Neptune, this spiritual planet, retrogrades and sort of internalizes the spiritual energy. It gives us all of us collectively, the way the vibrations are affecting us, a better ability to do what universe has been asking us to do throughout this whole past few months, and turn inwards and connect to our intuition, connect to our higher selves, and really be able to establish that connection and use our own internal gut instincts and intuitive urges and our internal compass to be our navigator in determining, you know, what set of information feels more true and right to us, because we're in a time of mass illusion where there's like big truths being exposed, but there's also a lot of disinformation thrown in there to make it more difficult to perceive the truth in the, you know, barrage of information that has just been coming out. And I find it interesting that after the full moon yesterday, we have the moon making aspect to Uranus today, and then the moon is going to make aspect, which, you know, moon and Uranus, that's like, you know, surprises, shocks. It's a positive aspect, so it shouldn't be anything too disruptive today with the Uranian energy. But with Neptune, when this activation happens, Neptune will have just stationed retrograde. And so, you know, and then the moon will aspect Pluto also, who's also stationed retrograde. So on an emotional level, on an internal level today, following the full moon yesterday, we're really going to have a good opportunity to turn inwards and process this information and connect, you know, to our higher guidance system to help us sort of navigate what's going on and get a greater understanding of things. So, you know, I feel like that's a good thing. It may be an emotionally turbulent day just because of everything that's being exposed and all of this new information that we're having to absorb and the changes that it's having on our perception of reality generally and the difficulties that come along with that. But again, with Neptune going retrograde now, especially, Neptune is really going to be, like I said, stripping away the illusions and the false realities that we've been operating under. And, it's the time to seek guidance from intuition and our common sense and our like higher selves and stuff like that in terms of interpreting our reality at this point. Because again, the information from external sources is just not all that reliable. Although Mercury is direct now, so information is starting to flow in a more streamlined manner, and we are starting to get more and more pieces of the puzzle, sort of. And with the full moon yesterday, things are starting to come more into a full picture of what has actually been going on. But now that we have Neptune going retrograde and the moon coming to coming into aspect with Neptune today, and then the moon will be moving into Pisces over the weekend into next week, and we'll be conjoining Jupiter, and then we'll be conjoining Neptune, and both of those, we are just in a period right now where it's revelations. Things are getting exposed. Everything's coming out, and we need to have a strong connection to our intuition and to our higher self and to our spirit and to our faith and to God to thoroughly understand what's been done and the illusion that we've been operating under, and to not also lose our minds in the process. So Neptune retrograde. It's time for the truth, baby. All right, let's talk about Saturday now. We don't have a terribly, terribly, terribly active weekend. Sunday a little more so than Saturday. Saturday, all that I really see of note is that we have Mars moving to 10, or is it 11? Mars is moving to 10 degrees of Leo, which officially, formally brings him within a 3-degree orb conjunction, activating the opposition to Saturn and the square to Uranus. So, this energy was really activated with the full moon yesterday, but now we're officially in range, so things are starting to heat up. And again, what I said about not making impulsive decisions really comes into effect this weekend and is in effect for the next 2 weeks while Mars is in range of tight conjunction with, opposition with Saturn and square to Uranus. On Sunday, we have Venus moving into Leo. That is definitely going to change the energetics a little bit. We're probably going to be feeling more inspired, more creative, more passionate, more active, and just we'll be having Venus joining Mars in Leo, and she will actually begin to start supporting Mars. And in ancient astrology, they said that when there is a benefic planet within range of a malefic planet, that it diminishes the ability of the malefic planet to be malefic. So basically, Venus is a benefic, Mars is a malefic. So with Venus coming into range with Mars, it kind of reduces Mars's ability to cause unpredictability and chaos and conflict and any type of real harm that's really serious or anything like that. So at least we will have Venus's blessing while she's with Mars and Mars is opposing Saturn. But so this actually should help us out, a little. This should help us out a little bit from any type of super just destructive stuff happening. But we still, we need to keep in mind that these aspects are very, very intense, whether Venus is there or not. But we're definitely going to be shifting heading into next week now that we have Venus or Mars and Venus in Leo. Also on Sunday, the moon will be moving into Aquarius, which means that it is going to be coming into opposition with Mars in Leo, conjunction to Saturn in Aquarius, and square to Uranus in Taurus. Also, it will be trining the North Node in Gemini and also trining Mercury in Gemini. So on Sunday, this could be a very stimulating day. It could be a very tense day. We could be feeling, again, this Mars opposition Saturn square Uranus is going to be very, very activated by the moon conjoining Saturn. We may be feeling very restricted, very limited, very frustrated on Sunday, and that urge to rebel. The moon in Aquarius rules Uranus. Uranus is involved in this square. The urge to rebel, to break free, to be impulsive, to be rash might be very strong on Sunday. So Sunday is a definite day where we're going to want to try to abstain from conflict. And really, if we're feeling this way, use the energy to be internal and to try to understand the nature of our emotions and the core issues that are causing them and why we're feeling this way, instead of having emotional outbursts and making impulsive decisions based on these feelings of being limited and frustrated that cause us to do things that may have unanticipated consequences that we don't want to deal with. So Sunday for sure is going to be one of these days. Also, because, the moon is going to be in trine to the north node and also Mercury, Sunday is another day where we are very primed for information coming out. And again, this is that information relating to the Mercury-Neptune square that we've had going on and things that have been hidden under the surface from the past, deceived in some way, illusion, manipulated, hypnosis, something that's been diluting us, information from the past coming back so that we can get more clarity and we're able to understand better so that we know which way we want to go in the future. We know, we have the information so we can have a better idea of how we want the future path that we're walking down to look, or even what it does look like. Breaking through the illusion, stripping away illusions and false realities, also in the context of Neptune now retrograde. Because remember, Neptune was very much involved in this whole situation. Mercury square Neptune for a long period of time. We've done 2 squares because of the Mercury retrograde. We got a 3rd one coming, and this one, Mercury will be direct, but Neptune will be retrograde. So it will be real interesting to see what comes with this. So we have that going on, just another day of revelations over the weekend, trying to move us forward into that new path, but we really want to watch our desire and impulses to just rebel and make impulsive actions to get out of something. Sunday. Lastly, and again, this sort of relates into everything, Mercury on Sunday will also begin moving forward again. Mercury has been hanging out at 17 degrees of Gemini for a while now. That was the degree where he stationed retrograde. And on Sunday, when we have the moon in a trine with the north node and Mercury, and also the opposition to Mars, conjunction to Saturn, and square to Uranus, Mercury will start moving forward. Information starting to move forward with this. Things are probably going to come out or be on the verge of coming out on Sunday. We are setting up for a big week next week with Neptune retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, this full moon cycle, Mars moving to oppose, Venus in Leo, and Mercury now moving forward. This is what we've sort of all been waiting for, to gain insight, to gain clarity, to have the information that we really need and deserve to have so that we can liberate ourselves from anything that's been holding back or enslaving us, either us personally, our heart and soul, Venus, or our finances in some type of a way, so that we can move forward into a more authentic and liberated experience. This is happening. This is going on. We are in this energy. It's going to be a big week next week. Don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're just primed and ready for all types of very interesting disclosures about things that really change our perspective and our perception of reality generally. So that's what we have going on. Remember, take care today with heavy machinery, automobiles. Keep an eye out for some type of general train wreck that you may experience in your life, and that can be very metaphorical. Heavy emotions today on Friday. Saturday, not too much, but the Mars activation really kicking in. And then Sunday, we have another crazy day, Venus in Leo, lots of information and lots of just Aquarian energy, but in opposed to Mars and conjunct Saturn. So you guys, that's what I got. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell if you want notifications every time I upload a video, and leave me comments. I absolutely love your comments, and I wish everyone a beautiful weekend, no impulsive decisions, and I will see you guys back here for Monday, another exciting week. See you guys later. Bye.